Hello students, let us do the new terms EMF and the internal resistance. So these are the two important terminology related with current electricity. Now before we move on to understand EMF and internal resistance, let us consider a simple explanation for the cells. Now we know that the cell is a device. So what is a cell? It is a device used to maintain steady current in the circuit. Steady current in the circuit. So we use it to obtain a steady current in the circuit. Let us say the construction or the arrangement of a cell, a simple electrolytic cell where we will consider a vessel. Now this is a vessel which consists of an electrolyte, that is, let us consider an example, dilute sulfuric acid. So we will see that dilute sulfuric acid consists of H plus ion and SO4 minus यानी -2 valency SO4 है. So it consists of positive and negative ions. So for us, the sulfuric acid which a vessel consists of can be written as H2SO4 will be written as H plus ion plus SO4 minus 2 ions. So we will try to understand the construction of a cell in the terminology or in the keeping physics in mind. So as far as the physics is concerned, I will say an electrolyte consists of the positive ion and the negative ion. Now, two electrodes of metals are introduced in it. So this is our dilute sulfuric acid. So according to us, it consists of 2H plus ion and SO4 minus ion. So this is what we have inside the vessel. Now we have two rods which are immersed in the electrolyte. These two rods are being referred as electrode. So how the cell is constructed? A simple cell can be constructed when the two electrodes are dipped in a liquid which is called electrolyte. We have taken the electrolyte as a dilute sulfuric acid. Let the two electrode is one of copper and other is of zinc. Now as soon as these two electrodes are dipped inside the vessel, due to the chemical force means, as far as chemistry is concerned, the redox reaction will take place inside the cell. For us, we talk in the terms of electric force and the chemical force. Now what will happen when these two electrodes are dipped? Inside the cell, the positive ion, let us take this H plus as a positive ion because electrolyte consists of positive ions and negative ions. So as soon as these two electrodes are dipped, the electrode which have more electronegativity, here electronegativity means this two metal rod consist of free electrons or a valence electron. Now they can easily lose an electron. So for us, copper is have a electron have a valence electron, more valence electron as compared to zinc. So it has more ability to give up the electron. So the metal which have more electronegativity means having more valence electron as compared to other metal will lose an electron, and the other metal will gain an electron due to the motion of the ions inside the cell. And we will say the exchange of the electron take place through the motion of the positive and negative ion. So inside there is no motion of electron. We know that in cells the mobile charge carriers are positive and negative ions. So it seems that the electron are being transferred from copper to zinc. The electronegativity of copper, or the ability of copper to lose an electron, is more as compared to the ability of a zinc to lose an electron. So as soon as we insert, or these two electrodes are immersed in an electrolyte, due to chemical force, we call it a chemical force or non-electrical force. We call it chemical force or non-electrical force. Generally, we denote it by Fn. So due to chemical force, this H plus ion will move towards the copper rod because it has more ability to lose an electron as compared to zinc, and SO4 minus ion, the valency is -2. These negative ions move towards zinc. So earlier in an electrolyte we have positive and negative ions, that is the -2 valency, and it has H plus, and we consider two positive ions, 2H plus ion. This reaction or this motion is due to non-electrical force. So here the non-electrical force is in this direction from zinc to copper on H plus, and for SO4 minus 2 this non-electrical force have a direction from copper to zinc electron. So this is the motion of the ion starts as as soon as the electrodes are immersed. Now this 2H plus ion, when it reaches to a copper electrode, it gains 2 electrons, or we say copper lose 2 electrons. So 2H plus ion take 2 electrons from the copper electrode, and H2 gas is formed inside this cell, and on the other hand the copper loses an electron, 2 electrons to this H plus ion. So this is a simple way of writing the equation as far as physics is concerned. So we are not dealing exactly with the chemistry. So copper can be written as Cu plus 2 and plus 2 electron. This electron is given to 2H plus ion, so H2 gas is formed. So the H2 gas start forming it. Here they have lost 2 electrons. So we say the copper is now becoming positive as compared to the earlier state when it was a neutral. So we say the potential of copper, start rising. Now at the same time, now all this process take place simultaneously. There is no delay. All this process will take place simultaneously. We try to understand this process step by step. So at the same time, SO4 come to zinc. This SO4 give 2 electrons to the zinc. And as a result, this SO4 react with zinc to form zinc sulfate. And this zinc have 2 electrons on it. So Zn react with SO4 minus 2. So zinc sulfate is formed, plus we have this 2 electron on the zinc. So it is like the 2 electron has been removed from copper and 2 electrons are deposited on a zinc. So it is like one electrode is losing an electron and one electrode is gaining an electron. So this is a redox reaction inside the cell. The chemistry explain this process in another way. In equation we write this step by step. So this zinc sulfate, when react with this, it will form zinc sulfate plus this 2 electron will be deposited on this zinc. Now what will happen? The electric field will be established in between these 2 electrons. Now one electrode is becoming positive, other electrode is becoming negative. Now electric field is established, that is an electrical force start opposing the motion. The electrical force will start opposing the further motion. Now this process continue. Now H plus ion will keep on moving towards copper rod and SO4 minus 2 will continue moving towards zinc electron. Now for how much time they would continue this motion? So to understand this, we simply take the number. Let us assume that when electrodes are not dipped, we have only electrolyte, only H plus ion and SO4 minus ion we have. Now this is considered as a number. Let us say there are 100 numbers of H plus ion and SO4 number is also 100. So we have dilute sulfuric acid, which is neutral as far as the charge is concerned. So this was 100. Now for us, this one cycle is completed. Copper was not introduced, so the charge on it is 0. The charge on zinc is also 0. This is the number we are trying to understand. This is one cycle. As soon as the copper and the zinc rods are dipped or immersed in the fluid or electrolyte, the motion of the ions take place due to chemical force. We call it a chemical force or a non-electrical force effect. As a result, H plus ion will move towards the rod which have more electronegativity or which have an ability to lose an electron. So H plus move towards copper, SO4 minus move to zinc. This H plus take out 2 electrons from a copper. So H2 start forming inside the cell or a container where copper becomes positive, donating the 2 electrons. This zinc gain 2 electron and becomes zinc sulfate inside the solution. So instead of writing this, let us say this is plus 2 electron here. So this zinc has gained 2 electrons. This zinc has gained 2 electrons. So it becomes a zinc sulfate. So inside the cell, inside the electrolyte, H2 and zinc sulfate start forming. Now this is the one cycle is over. If we stop here, 2 plus charge is deposited on copper and 2 negative charge are deposited on zinc. We feel that the 2 electron has been moved through the solution from copper to zinc, but it is not the case. There is a redox reaction, so these electrons are being transferred with the help of the motion of the ion. So inside the electrolyte, the conductivity is due to motion of ions, due to the motion of the positive and negative ions. Now if I stop here, what is the condition now? H plus ion is 98, SO4 minus is 98, copper have plus 2E, zinc have minus 2E. So charge is neither created nor destroyed. This is the situation. Now the second cycle take place. Now who comes into the picture? Electrical force, or we can say the electric field is established. This motion will continue, but now this 2 plus electron, that is 2 plus charge, that is positive charge, will oppose this 98 H plus ion, and this 2 electrons will oppose SO4 minus ion. So now the opposition has been started inside it, but because the non-electrical force is greater than Fe, still their number is more as compared to them. So initially there were ions, but there was no charges on copper and zinc because it was not immersed. Now this process starts as soon as we immerse it. So this is the condition. Opposition starts, but non-electrical force is greater than Fe. So the motion will continue. In the second cycle, this becomes 96, this becomes 96, it becomes plus 4e, it becomes minus 4e. Again, the electric field built up. In the third cycle, this 96 positive ions will find opposition from the 4 positive charge on copper, and this 96 negative ions will find the force of opposition from the electrons on a zinc electrode. This process will continue because the non-electrical force is greater than the electrical force or the electric field. So our electric field is less as compared to the chemical force inside it, and this process continue till then in the next cycle it becomes 94, 94, 6, 6, 92, 92. Now this process will continue till all this situation becomes equal, that is an equilibrium is established, and now Fn is equal to Fe, and the entire rod or electrode, we say one electrode is positively charged and other electrode is negatively charged. Now Fn is equal to Fe. Now this is how one rod becomes positive charge and other rod becomes negatively charged. And now when I bring this cell from the market, I get inside two H plus ion which are now 50, SO4 minus ion which are in 50. There are positive charges 50, this is positive charge, negative charge 50, and we have two electrodes, one is positively charged, one is negatively charged. And now the situation is the motion is not taking place, the motion of ion have stopped. And now if I determine the potential difference between these two electrodes without using it, so suppose you bring a pencil cell from a market, the value written on it is 1.5 volt. It means the potential difference between two rod or electrode is 1.5 volt, where negative terminal is arbitrarily taken as 0. So however the potential difference is say 1.5 volt, it means 1.5 joule of energy will be consumed to transfer 1 coulomb of charge from one end to the another end outside the circuit. This is about the inside. So when we bring a cell, Fn is equal to Fe, and the potential difference between these two electrode, say V plus and V minus, let the potential difference of this is V plus and this is V minus, this potential difference between them is maximum. So this potential difference is maximum between the two electrode, say V plus minus of V minus, that is V plus plus V plus minus, this is the maximum value. This minus is taken because this rod is negatively charged, and this minus is our potential difference. So this value is maximum, the potential difference is maximum. This is called EMF, denoted by the symbol E, which is written like this, a curved E. So what is the EMF? EMF is the maximum potential difference between the two electrodes of cell when no current is drawn from it. You are not taking the current. It is called open circuit condition. It is called open circuit condition. So when I bring a cell from a market or a newly formed cell, the potential difference between these two electrodes is maximum, which is referred as EMF. So you are not using it. Then we brought it to use it in some device like remote control or a clock, as we have discussed in the introduction. Now when we use it, we will draw a current from it or a power from it. So current will start flowing in the circuit, and we will see its potential difference will keep on decreasing. A stage will come where the chemical energy will be converted or it is used up, and we say the cell is discharged. So now we are not using the cell. We just made a cell, and now the potential difference between these two electrodes is maximum, which will be referred as EMF. And that maximum potential difference formula is V plus plus V minus, that is denoted by a E written in a special way, curved E. And the condition inside is Fn is equal to Fe, so the motion of the ion is not there. So this is the concept of EMF, and I will say the definition as the maximum potential difference between two electrodes of cell, when no current, that is called open circuit condition. That is called open circuit condition. Open circuit condition, when no current is drawn from it in this stage, and when there is an EMF, that is a maximum potential difference, the current in the circuit is zero. So you are not using the cell, or this is what we have brought from the market. Now let us try to understand this in the terms of what is given in our textbook. Now according to our textbook, again a cell is a device which is used to maintain a steady current or which will give you a steady current. So we try to understand this cell in the terms of the number of ions or with the help of a reaction. In our book, we don't deal with the reactions or with this number. This number or the reaction was written just to make you understand the basic concept of the cell, how the potential difference is created, or how the two electrodes becomes charged. One becomes positively charged, other becomes negatively charged. As far as our book is concerned, now it says that consider an electrolyte, and we immerse these two electrodes This is referred as a positive electrode. So in one line they write the motion of the ions will take place. As a result, one becomes positively charged. Let us denote this by P and this as N. Now they have taken a point inside the electrode which is labeled as say point A, and a point in an electrolyte which is labeled as point B. So there is a potential difference between this rod and an electrolyte, say a point A. This potential difference between this rod and the point A in electrolyte is denoted as V plus, where V plus is greater than 0. Now, according to book, this V plus is potential difference between an electrode and an electrolyte. Now, how this potential difference is created? If you remember, potential difference is a work done to move a unit positive charge from one point to another point. So here the chemical force do the work. Now, when we immersed it, who is responsible for the motion of the ion? It is a chemical force or a non-electrical. So work is done by non-electrical force to move H plus ion from point A to B. And this work done by chemical force or non-electrical force is being referred as V plus. So say this is a H plus, this is a unit positive charge. This is a unit positive charge. But because it have a to balance it with, because it is a sulfuric acid, we take 2H plus ion. 2H plus ion. So if I write only H plus, it is a unit positive charge. So for per cycle, we have 2H plus ion. So this H plus has moved inside the electrolyte when we dip the electrode. So let us assume it has moved from point A to B. P. Now if it has moved from point A to P, it will create a potential difference. And if you remember, the potential difference will be Vp minus Va, that is high potential minus low potential. So it is greater than 0. So it is greater than 0. So V plus is a potential difference. And I have written V plus as a positive, only the potential of plus, because we assume this point is very near to a point P. A point is very near to point P. So I write this as a potential of a positive electrode. Actually, it is work done to move a unit positive charge from point A to P. Means H plus ion has moved from point A to P due to non-electrical force. The charge or ion will not move itself. No body will move by itself. There should be some force acting on it. So this non-electrical force, that is a chemical force. So this work done to move a H plus ion from point A to P is been referred as V plus inside the book. This V minus is referred as work done by the non-electrical force to move SO4 minus 2 ion from point B to N. And this should be written as, actually this should be written as Vn minus Vb. V minus should be written as Vn minus Vb, and this work done can be written as A from P. So Vp minus Va. So if we go into a detailed concept, V plus should be written as Vp minus Va. That is work done to move a unit positive charge, or this is H plus is a unit positive charge. So we for a cycle we take 2 positive charge at a time from A to B. So it will create a potential difference Vp minus Va, which is referred as V plus, and V minus is a Vn minus Vb, or the work is done from B to N. So after one cycle, the electric field is established and they will oppose, and then we multiply this by a Q. So this potential difference is taken as V minus V plus inside the book. So V plus is positive and V minus, so V minus value is greater than or equal to 0, but we have a negative charge, so we write here minus V minus. We write it as V minus. So as far as we are concerned, first we have to clear the maximum potential difference between the two electrodes where no current is drawn from it is our current is 0. Then that maximum potential difference is called EMF. Now I started according to the book. So according to book, H plus ion will move from point A to P. So work is done from A to P, and this will be Vp minus Va. This is written as V plus, which is greater than 0. So this is the work done to move a unit positive charge. Now work done to move a unit negative charge. Let us say unit negative charge, 2SO4 minus minus 2. So let us say if there is a unit negative charge, then it should be equal to, now our definition, the work is done from B to N, so it gives a potential difference Vn minus Vb. Now this should be written as minus V minus, which is in the terms of the value, this V minus is greater than or equal to 0. Arbitrarily we take this potential as 0. So this minus sign, this potential difference comes out to be negative because we are moving the unit negative charge. And this difference, now there is a difference between point P and N. So now the potential difference between point P and N is equal to V plus minus of V minus, that comes out to be V plus V minus, that is called as EMF. So this is the potential difference created when we bring a cell from a market, or this is the condition inside the cell, Fn is equal to Fe. Now the potential difference between these two electrode is maximum. So internally we take potential difference between P and A, that is V plus. Potential difference between B and N, that is minus V minus. Now potential difference between P and N, so it can be written as, for outside it is considered as plus potential, this is considered as a negative potential. So potential difference become V plus, this is the negative potential, and the potential difference sign makes V plus plus V minus. So this potential difference is greater than 0. This potential difference is greater than 0. So this is the potential difference between the two electrodes of the cell when no current is drawn. When no current is drawn, this becomes a potential difference, and we call it an EMF of the cell. So EMF of the cell is the potential difference when no current is drawn. So you have to remember this, E is equal to V plus plus V minus, that is the formula for EMF, which is greater than 0, and we defined it as a maximum potential difference in open circuit condition, in a open circuit condition. So this is the EMF as far as the book is concerned, and we say one electrode is positive, other electrode is negative. and the potential difference is maximum. Now we brought this cell when the situation is Fn is equal to Fe, that is the first situation, that is there is no motion of positive and negative charge. Second, the potential difference is Vmax, that is V plus minus of V minus, that becomes V plus V minus, and we call it EMF. So EMF is V plus V minus, which is greater than 0. This is the two condition for a cell, where V plus, if I say what is V plus, it is simply a potential difference between the copper rod and electrolyte. What is V minus? It is the potential difference between electrolyte and zinc rod. It should be negative because the negative charge or negative ion will flow towards N. Then we find out the potential difference between these two electrodes. So it will be V plus V minus. Now we will also see the potential difference between A and B also. There will be potential difference between point A and B also. But this will come into picture when we will draw a current. For the time being, we are not taking any current from it. So the when the motion of the ion stops, the potential difference is maximum. That is, for example, if you bring a pencil cell, the value is, say, example 1.5 volt. This is EMF. Now when we bring a cell, we need to use it in our clock or a remote control. So we connect it with our device. Now we connect it with the device. This is plus, this is minus. What is the situation inside? What is the number inside? Everything is 50 now. So no motion of the ions is there. Though now there are 50 positive ions, 50 negative ions are there. 50 positive charges are on this rod, 50 negative charges are on it, and there is an electric field established. Now this electric field, 50 positive of copper have opposed the 50 positive ions, 50 of this zinc negative charge has opposed SO4 minus. Because there was no motion, the potential difference of electrolyte inside it is 0. So potential difference between A and B is taken as 0, and therefore we were left with the potential difference between PA and BN, which was V plus V minus. Now the situation will change. Now as soon as I connect a resistance, that is our device, a remote control or a clock or a conductor. Now what will happen? The current will start flowing through this. The current starts flowing from positive terminal to the negative terminal. Now what happened inside the cell? As soon as I connect these two wires, this zinc is more negative as compared to this electrode. So this electrode is positively charged, this electrode is negatively charged. Let us again start a cycle. At a time, suppose this 2 electron comes out. Now the motion of the electron will start. We have studied the motion inside the conductor. What happens when this electron is accelerated? Now the electrons will accelerate. So this was inside the conductor, now inside the cell. Then both the things will be combined. So suppose 2 electron comes out from this. So what will be the number of zinc now? It will have 48. This 2 electrons comes out. Now let us consider this as a motion of electron which is opposite to the conventional current. This wire also consists of free electrons. This conductor we know it already have a free electron. Now charge can neither be created nor destroyed. So this 2 electrons comes into wire. Immediately let us draw this resistance first as a conductor. So this 2 electron will enter the conductor. and this conductor will have a resistance R. So this inside we have seen that. And we know that when we connect a cell, the electrons start moving from negative terminal to opposite. Now the electric field has been established. So this is how the electric field is established from one end to another, because one charge was positive and one rod was positive and one rod was negative. So this we have already done. This portion is been done. Now these two electrons enter inside it. We know inside they will collide with the ion, etc. But charge can neither be created nor destroyed. So immediately these two electrons will come out. Now these are not the same electron. It is not that same two electron which has moved from zinc has entered into it and the same electron comes out. The electrons are different because the wire itself is a conducting wire. It consists of a free electron. This conductor itself consists of free electron. But charge can neither be created nor destroyed. So if two electrons comes out from zinc, or we know that electron flow whenever they get a conducting path. So now they got a conducting path. When we brought, they were not a conducting path. They were not getting the conducting path. Moreover, all the number were equal, or Fn was equal to Fe. Both strength was equal. So there is no motion of positive ions or motion of an electron. That is called an open circuit condition. Now it is a closed circuit condition. So two electron comes out, two electron goes inside the conductor, two electron comes out. Anywhere charge is not created nor destroyed, neither it is created nor destroyed. These two electron come to this copper plus, so it was plus, so it becomes neutral. So now the copper will also have 48 number. Now what happened again? Again Fn becomes greater than Fe because they were 50-50. Now the motion of ion will again start inside it. Now immediately this happens. Now all this process, all the 4 steps will take place simultaneously. We are taking the number only to understand the process. Immediately 2H plus will start moving because Fn is greater than Fe now. Though this H plus ion, there are 50 H plus ion, it will find a position from this 48 positive charge, and SO4 will also start moving, which find opposition from Zn number 48 minus. So this opposition we will see, it will be called as internal resistance. When the circuit is closed, they do find the opposition. So motion of the ion will be now opposed, but they still will move because Fn is greater than Fe. So initially when we dipped, now come to the initial situation. When electrode light was taken and the two electron was dipped, Fn was much greater than Fe, or Fe was 0 at that time. But as soon as we dipped it, a situation comes where Fn becomes equal to Fe. And when we stop this process, it stops by itself. There is no motion of ions inside the cell, and the potential difference is one rod is fully charged, other rod is fully negatively charged, one rod is fully positively charged. Now if I say what is the potential difference, if I have to measure the potential difference between these two electrodes when the motion inside has stopped, or when Fn is equal to Fe, that potential difference is maximum. Now this potential difference we will see will keep on decreasing. Why? Because when I connect this device whose resistances are, or say a remote control, so the motion of the two electron has taken place. So this chemical energy will be converted into the light energy or any other energy because the device is connected. Now what happened? This becomes 48-48. So Fn is again greater than Fe, but not as strong as it was earlier when it was immersed. When the rods were immersed, at that time Fn was very strong. Its chemical force was very strong. Now, and then it becomes equal. So everything stopped. Now we connected, it is a closed circuit. Two electrons has moved outside. the zinc and it have flown through this conductor or a resistor, so they become 48. Now they are 50-50. Immediately this motion starts. They take two electrons from this. So these 2 electrons are being taken. So 2 electron comes out, 2 electrons comes here, they becomes 48. Again H plus ion move and they give it a positive charge. Now again it becomes 50. Again it becomes 50, and on the other hand H plus becomes 48. Similarly SO4 will give 2 electrons to it. So SO4 also becomes 48 and this number becomes 50. So this is how the steady current is maintained. But inside there is an expense of a chemical energy. See, the chemical energy will keep on decreasing. The ions which were 50-50 and now they will remain at 50. So they maintain a steady current, but their number will keep on decreasing. So we are using this device. Say if I have an electric bulb here, then this light is obtained at the expense of the motion of ions or at the expense of the chemical force. So we say chemical energy is converted into the light energy. So we call it that chemical energy is converted into light energy. So one cycle is completed. Similarly, this motion of electron keeps on, this electron keeps on moving. So if I explain the second cycle, again 2 electrons comes out, 2 electron goes in. So we feel that the electrons are coming out from zinc rod, going inside the conductor, then it goes through copper, and this 2 electron flow through this electrolyte. It is not the case. The transfer of electron take place through the motion of ions inside it. It is not that electron has flown inside the electrolyte. So inside electrolyte there is a motion of positive and negative ions only, but outside it is a motion of electron which gives a current. So mobile charge carrier, outside the cell is electron, inside the cell it is the motion of ions. So that we have discussed earlier also. So this process continue. Then another 2 electron. So this flow is, the flow of electron is very fast. Not like that 2 electron will come out, 2 will go in. It is not the case. But what I am trying to explain you, this number will keep on decreasing. They will maintain a steady current. They will always remain at 50. So if I take next cycle, again they becomes 48. Now they will move. So inside the motion is continuous, and this number will keep on decreasing, and the stage when H plus and SO4 minus ion becomes 0, we say that cell is completely discharged or the entire chemical energy is used up. And this is the process, or this is how the chemical energy is converted into the potential energy. Now let us talk about this internal resistance. Now when we have connected this 2 rod with an external resistance, say capital R or a conductor, the motion of the electron started. So I said that this electron start moving like this. This is the motion of electron. Now when inside it, when they were 50-50, they will start moving again. Fn again becomes greater than Fe. But what is the situation? The electric field is less than Fn, but it is not so weak, so it will oppose. So when this cell is in a closed circuit condition, means when the cell is being connected to any device, and when the motion of ion again start inside the cell. Now the motion of ion again start inside the cell, they find a opposition from this positive and negative electrode, and it is called internal resistance. So what is an internal resistance? internal resistance is the opposition offered by the ions, the opposition offered to the motion of ion inside the cell is called the internal resistance of the cell. So this is called as an internal resistance, but it comes into picture generally denoted by small r when we connect it by some device or external resistance R. This is an external resistance R. Internal resistance comes into picture when again the motion of the ion take place. So the opposition, this is the opposition offered to the motion of ions inside the cell is called internal resistance. This is called as internal resistance denoted by small r. Denoted by small r. This internal resistance is due to many factors. So first is, now the current is flowing from positive to negative ions. So I can also say that the opposition to this current inside the cell. So outside the current move from positive terminal to negative terminal. Inside the current flow from negative terminal to the positive terminal. But you have to remember that inside the cell it is not a motion of electrons. The motion of the electron take place through the motion of the ions. So ions are moving inside it, making one rod positive, other rod negative. However, still we say the current outside the circuit move from positive terminal to negative terminal. Inside it move from negative electrode to positive electrode. Or in a simple term, internal resistance can also be defined as the opposition offered by the electrolyte to the motion of the current. Because current is associated with the motion of electron. So now electrolyte oppose it. So this electron ions are being opposed, that is called as internal resistance. So inside the ion itself find difficulty because there were 50 positive ions and there are 50 negative ions inside it. So they have their internal resistance. All 50 will try to move towards this rod. So this is the situation where the ion find an opposition to their motion itself, or there may be some impurity. Sometimes it is there that when we have taken the dilute sulfuric acid, it is impure. So that impurity also oppose the motion of the ion. So when the circuit is closed, this is called closed circuit condition. So what is a closed circuit condition? Closed circuit condition is when the current is drawn from it. When the current is drawn from the circuit. Now as soon as we connect this cell to the external resistance, the ion start, the motion of the ion is being opposed. This motion of the ion is being opposed due to the impurity, that is one of the factor. Otherwise, this motion of the ions is being opposed by the electrodes inside the cell, which are immersed inside the cell. So our electric force will oppose, and therefore we say work is done to move a unit positive charge from one point to another against the field. So we have electric field established. Now when we are using the cell, this motion of the ion is being opposed. So our electric force Fe will oppose the motion. Still that Fn is greater, so motion will take place, and slowly this number or the sulfuric acid concentration keep on decreasing. Why it keep on decreasing? So we know H2 and zinc sulfate is also formed inside the vessel. So when all 50 remaining H plus ion and SO4 minus ion are being used up, we say the cell is completely discharged. So when this motion is taking place, we know H2 and zinc sulfate were also forming inside it. So in other words, we say the concentration of H2SO4 is decreasing. So what is EMF? EMF is the maximum potential difference between the two electrodes and when no current is drawn from it. And what is internal resistance? Internal resistance is when there is a closed circuit condition and ion find difficulty in moving or the opposition offered to the current in the circuit. In simple language, you say when I close this circuit, current start flowing. So we call it the opposition offered to the current. But inside actually it is the opposition offered to the ions by the electric field which is established between the positive and the negative electrode, which is called as internal resistance. Now what is the situation? Now what is the potential difference between positive rod and negative rod? So I can write this as potential difference between P and A plus potential difference between A and B plus potential difference between B and N. So this is the closed circuit condition when the current is being started flowing from positive terminal to the negative terminal. So let us see now what is the potential difference between P and N, which was earlier V plus plus V minus. So potential difference between P and A, which we have taken as V plus. Potential difference between this B and N, it was taken as B minus. So let us write this here, V minus, which is also greater than 0. Then the potential difference between A and B. Now the current is been drawn. So the potential drop, it is called minus IR. Here minus sign is the opposition offered to the ions or the opposition offered by the electric field is called as the potential difference between these two electrodes. So H plus ion find difficulty in moving from B to A and SO4 find difficulty in moving from A to B. So that internal resistance multiplied by the current flowing in the circuit, that is called the potential drop. This is called potential drop. So it is the minus sign because it is an opposition. Now this V plus and V minus is EMF. So E minus IR, this is called terminal potential difference actually. This is called terminal potential difference. So we have a three terms. One is EMF, one is internal resistance, and one is a terminal potential difference. So terminal potential difference is less than or sometimes equal to the EMF. This terminal potential difference means now when I use this cell, the potential difference, I am using this cell, the potential difference between these two electrodes will keep on decreasing because you are using this cell, and this internal resistance will oppose the motion, and therefore you will not get what is the situation earlier, that is Fn was equal to Fe. So EMF was assumed to be 1.5 volt. This is only the situation when no current is drawn. Suppose we will come to this point also. Suppose I want to measure the potential difference between these two electrodes, and in the coming day we will see if I use a voltmeter to measure this potential difference, it will not be 1.5 volt, it will be 1.5 minus something, because the electrodes ions have a opposition inside the cell, which is referred as a internal resistance. So you will get a less value. A voltmeter is a device which is used to measure the terminal potential difference. So if you bring a cell from the market and it is written as 1.5 volt, and if you try to measure it with the help of voltmeter, you will find that whenever the current is being drawn from the cell, its potential difference decreases. That is, EMF minus something. So it will show you, say something 1.3. So where this 0.2 has gone, because the circuit is closed, the current started flowing, and therefore the ions are being opposed. So we will see that voltmeter will not measure the EMF, it will measure the terminal potential difference. So if using the voltmeter I get a value of 1.3 volt, where this 0.2 volt have gone, so it is IR is equal to 0.2 volt. So this much joule per coulomb is been required to overcome the opposition. So 0.2 joule per coulomb energy is required by the ion inside to overcome the opposition. You understand this? What is this IR? So if I get 1.3 value when measuring this, it will be 0.2 joule per coulomb. So it means 0.0 joule per coulomb is being used up. The energy available was 1.5 joule per coulomb, but 0.2 is being used up by the ions. 0.2 joule per coulomb is being used up. So you will get only 1.3 joule per coulomb only. So we will see that EMF will be measured by a device called potentiometer. So voltmeter always measure a terminal potential difference which will be less than, or we will say it can be equal to EMF also. That we see a situation now. So now we have a three terminology. Number one is EMF. You remember this, EMF is V plus plus V minus, which is greater than 0. I can say this as a maximum potential difference when no current is drawn or when I is 0. This is the first situation. This is the situation when we bring up the cell from the market. Second was the internal resistance. Internal resistance is the resistance offered by an electrolyte to the flow of the current. So I complete the circuit by joining this external resistance, the current start flowing. So outside it move from P to N, inside though it is a motion of ion, I say the current is moving inside from negative electrode to positive electron, but it will not flow because there is an opposition offered to the motion of the ions by the electric field established between these two rods. So this opposition offered to the motion of the ion give rise to internal resistance, and therefore the potential drop across the internal resistance is IR, that is the Ohm's law, and finally we get V is equal to minus E minus IR. This is called terminal potential difference. So when we brought a cell, it was 1.5 volt, but when we start using it, 0.2 joule was used up inside the cell only, that is to overcome the opposition, and you got only 1.3 volt. So that is terminal potential difference. So this condition is a closed circuit condition. This is a closed circuit condition. So this is we have for a electrochemical cell, internal resistance and EMF, and the closed circuit condition, external resistance we have done. Now when the current start flowing, what is the potential drop across this? So potential drop across external resistance is IR. Potential drop means how much energy per coulomb this device will use. Potential drop means how much energy this device will use. So if I use an electric bulb, it will not give you 100% light energy. Some of this energy will be utilized to overcome the opposition. And what is the opposition inside the conductor? It is a collision of electrons with the ion. So this is called potential drop of a conductor. So as we have a opposition of the motion of the iron, there is a opposition that we know this. So how much voltage will drop across it? So say if there is a chemical energy of 5 joule, there is a chemical energy of 5 joule, I am getting say 4.8 joule. So where this 0.2 joule has gone, so per coulomb it has gone to overcome the opposition by the offered to the ions motion inside the cell. Now I got 4.8 joule. I connected a bulb. Now this light energy obtained is say 4.5 joule. So where this 0.3 joule has gone, so it is IR. So I have 5 joule energy, but finally I got only 4.5 joule of energy. So chemical energy is converted into the light energy, but 0.2 joule was used up inside the cell. That is the opposition offered. Another 0.3 joule was used up because the electron will collide inside the conductor. So this is internal loss and this is external loss. This loss is been referred as a potential drop across a resistor or across a device. So V is equal to IR, that is a terminal potential difference. Now if I neglect the resistance of this wire, this V can be replaced by IR. So IR is equal to E minus IR. If we neglect this losses of the conducting wire, and I assume that this is not a bulb, this is a resistance itself. This is a resistance itself. So I have a 5 joule, 0.2 joule is been used up. So I am getting now 4.8 joule only. So this is 5 minus 0.2. Now I can be written as, so IR is equal to this. I take this IR here, so it becomes R plus R is equal to E. So current formula in the circuit becomes EMF divided by the total resistance. So this is the expression for a current flowing in the circuit, that is the EMF divided by the total resistance, that is external plus internal. See, both are the opposition. Now if I assume that the resistance is 0, the external resistance is 0, that is this resistance is not using there is a no loss of energy. So R is 0. So at that time I is equal to E upon R. This is called the maximum current drawn from the cell. So when R is 0, that is no resistance is being, there is no resistance of the device. Say if I say I connect an electric bulb, again I come to that point, 5 joule is the energy, chemical energy, I got 4.8 joule. So if I get this light energy 4.8 joule, it means the bulb have 0 resistance. The bulb have 0 resistance, it means the maximum current is being drawn. But chemical energy is 5 joule. I got 4.8 joule because there was an internal resistance. Now if the bulb is only giving an output of 4.5 joule, again there is 0.3 joule loss of an energy in an external resistance. However, if we assume that R is 0, the bulb which we have connected have 0 resistance, then maximum current will be drawn. So this is an expression for the maximum current drawn. However, you have to remember, if we draw a maximum current, then there is a possibility of a damage of our device or whatever instrument you have connected to the cell. So the current drawn should always be less than the maximum current, and therefore if any device, there are some sensitive device where if the current flows or exceeds some value, it gets damaged. So if this is a device which is very sensitive, this is a device which is very sensitive, it may get damaged if its resistance is 0. So in that situation, we have to connect an external resistance capital R. If this device don't have any resistance, then only I am talking. If this device is very sensitive to the current, so there are devices which are very sensitive to the current, and if it has no resistance, it will draw maximum current from the cell and it may get damaged. So you have to connect an external resistance. Now what is the situation? Now this is the situation. Chemical energy 5 joule, 0.2 joule being used up by internal resistance. I will get 4.8. Then 0.3 is being utilized by this. That is the potential drop IR. And finally I get 4.5 joule. So we are not connecting this in this topic. So here I have simply written V is equal to IR. So this is all about we have for the cell internal resistance, EMF and terminal potential difference. EMF is a maximum potential difference. When no current is drawn, that is when we brought a cell, the potential difference is maximum. But as soon as you connect it, you have to remember the terminal potential difference will decrease. That is due to the internal resistance of the cell, that is V is equal to E minus IR. And if R is the external resistance, then V is written as IR, so current drawn is this. And all this thing in the terms of symbol is explained as this is your resistance R and the cell is been denoted by this. So if I write here E, it means internal resistance is 0. And if I write here V, it means it have a internal resistance. So if I write this V, we assume that it has an internal resistance which is been calculated as E minus IR. So there are many possibilities. If I draw like this, small r, that is internal resistance is been shown separately, it is kept in a box, and now I will write here E and this is capital R. So out of this EMF, IR will be utilized by the cell itself, that is the motion of ions are being opposed, and what I will get will be IR, that is V is equal to IR, current start flowing. So this is the symbol. If I write E to the cell, I have to draw internal resistance separately. If I write V, it is understood that the EMF was E and internal resistance voltage drop is subtracted from it and directly V is written. Now see the condition, if this is V, I is the current flowing through it, then this will be equal to Ohm's law. The potential drop will be IR, this 5 joule, you will get 4.8, this 4.8 will be utilized by this resistance which is capital IR. So this is about cell EMF, terminal potential difference, internal resistance. Now we have completed externally how the conductor works, how the cell individually work, and when we connect it, this is a situation, a little bit a complex situation. First we studied conductor separately, what happened inside the conductor. Then in the first part of this lecture we have seen what happened inside the cell, and then closed circuit condition we connected both of these devices. One was our conductor, one is our cell or our device which provide a steady current. Have a nice day.